These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another How About Them Celtics video. Sam and I are here recording Thursday, September 7th, and we're reacting to rankings, Sam's favorite activity of the summer because it's September. Zach Buckley of Bleacher Report put together a list power ranking the Celtics roster entering the upcoming season 2023-2024. So we're going to react to it, take a look at where he believes every player on the roster ranks. He put it into little tiers as well. He's saying it's one of the NBA's deepest, most talented rosters, but how do the individual components compare to one another? So let's take a look. Tier 1 is the bottom tier, to put it bluntly, which is 4 guys: Fee Mikhailuk at 14, 13 Luke Cornett, 12 Delano Banton. Sorry, Zach Buckley. It's a little error in your article. And 11, Jordan Walsh. I read it and I had to double take. Delano Banton should be 12 and Jordan Walsh at 11. Anything that jumps out quick. To be honest, maybe it's just because of the hype of Summer League. I feel like Jordan Walsh is a little bit low compared to some other players on the team. Namely O'Shea Brissett. I'm just comparing him to O'Shea Brissett in my head. Like, who would you rather play?
Maybe O'Shea Brissett. I think Mikhailuk is really low. Based on what we read last pod, like where coaches are really high on him. They think he had a bit of a breakthrough with the Hornets at the end of the year last year.
I feel like Banton
I
should
think
be 14.
he's low.
I think Banton should be 14. Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe you switch those two guys. Maybe you put Brissett's kind of high up on this list. Maybe you put Jordan Walsh a little higher.
Mm-hmm. It's tough at that point.
It depends what you see in
roster.
training camp, really.
They do have a deep roster. Getting into the next thing, just to take a look here. The middle tier: Pritchard at 10, Brissett, Hauser, Brogdon, Horford. O'Shea Brissett above Peyton Pritchard, something, huh? O'Shea Brissett, who didn't get minutes on the Pacers last year as much, shot poorly from 3. I think O'Shea Brissett's gonna be a nice addition, but I think he's gonna be a fringe rotation guy who plays in the right spots, not better than Peyton Pritchard. I don't know. It says Brissett's motor and defensive versatility seems slightly more valuable than Pritchard's shooting. I disagree. I think there are too many guys ahead of Brissett who should potentially get minutes. I think Jordan Walsh can get minutes just because he's younger and played well with the defensive intensity. I think he's probably a better shooter than Brissett, even though he didn't shoot well in college. I think Hauser definitely gets minutes over Brissett. So that's a bit weird. Nice to see Hauser getting the respect, though. I think him at 8 is nice. He's a good player.
I'm sorry, who?
Hauser. I was saying it's nice to see him get respect. I feel like he'd be low in a lot of
I consistently forget Hauser's on the team. I really do. And this season could be a big one for him. If his numbers translate remotely from what they were last year, he really could be a key rotation player for the Celtics. I think he's appropriately ranked.
Agree. Brissett above Pritchard. Oh, I can't back that. I don't agree with that at all. I think Pritchard's a better player.
It's weird because Pritchard doesn't really have a spot in the rotation.
Right now?
Yeah.
I think he does.
Derek White. I don't know. When I think rotation, I think 8 guys, in fairness.
Yeah, and Brissett's also doesn't have a spot in that 8 rotation.
I know, but who's more likely to... I think the 2 guards ahead of Pritchard are more concrete than the forward on the bench above Brissett.
I feel like that's an unfair comparison. You're comparing a starting guard and a bench guard to just one bench forward. Like, if you want to compare positions, I feel like you compare Derek White starting point guard, Peyton Pritchard backup, or I guess Malcolm Brogdon's a backup, but then they don't have a backup shooting guard, so you'd probably play Pritchard. You'd probably play Pritchard as one of the first 2 guards off the bench. I would play Jordan Walsh and Sam Hauser above Brissett off the bench.
Yeah, but you might play Hauser a backup shooting guard.
No, I don't think he's good enough on the defensive end to play shooting guard.
New FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV.
I don't know.
I just think Pritchard's. I think maybe Brissett's gets more rotational minutes, but I think Pritchard's the better player. Like, and that's what this list is. I just think Pritchard just didn't have enough minutes last season because he had 3 guards ahead of him.
I think Pritchard's a really good player. I just don't think it's fair to small guards in today's game where they're not really getting respect. They don't get minutes.
Not to take away from the focus of the video, but look at Tremont Waters. He ain't got a shot in the league, and he's playing extremely well in FIBA. I don't know. Brissett's just, I'm hesitant to be all in on Brissett. I think he's athletic and he's got the frame of NBA body, but he was just so woefully inefficient in Indiana last year. Like he wasn't even in the rotation consistently by the end of the season. So it's just like, I don't know. It's weird. Brogdon, Horford, fine. Any issues or comments here? Like whatever.
It's tough for Brogdon to be that low. A little bit, just because he won 6 Man of the Year. But also,
Sure.
I think Horford is really an important piece, but he's getting old.
Okay.
I think
I'd be fine with
flip these
Brogdon and
guys.
Horford. Yeah, I'd be fine with
The
that
tough
too.
thing with Brogdon is you don't really know if he's happy. You don't know if he's hurt. Those are two important things. Horford, happy, seems healthy. Easy.
This might be a stretch, but like, you know, when Paul George was like, excuse me, availability is like a talent or a skill, or they had that discussion. Like, if Rob doesn't show me something this year, he might be below these two guys. His ceiling is super high and he's super impactful when he's on the court, but he's just not able to consistently be on the court. Even if you look at it like when he comes back from injury, they're just like minutes restriction. Like he's not able to be on the court for 30 minutes like he was 2 years ago. So like impactful wise, like, I don't know, these guys might be ahead, which I assume clocks in Rob at 5. The rest of the 5 is pretty obvious. Rob at 5, Derek White at 4, Kristaps at 3, Jalen at 2, Jason at 1. This makes sense. I'm glad Derek White got the respect. I know some lists have, like, I think 2K has Malcolm Brogdon and Rob and Al Horford ahead of him for 2K ratings, just because 2K doesn't know ball. Derek White was super impactful last year. Kristaps at 3 obviously makes sense. Rob at 5 is the only thing I might debate with Brogdon and Horford, but the rest of this is like pretty obvious.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. I'm not really worried about the logjam of Rob, Horford, Brogdon. Hopefully they're all going to contribute well. I think White, like you said, is appropriately placed. Like, he's impactful. He's showed that he can be more impactful than most really believe or think of off the top of their head.
Mm-hmm.
And it's mentioned in the article, he has a really, really big task in filling Smart's shoes as a starter.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say he can't do it, but it's an important part of the Celtics, how they operate, how they roll, and how they tick. You need a good starting point guard. White, when he first joined the team, really showed he has great vision, and he's continued to do so. So he should be somebody they can rely on in that sense. Poor Porzingis, he's the big guy. He's the one that they brought in. He's the one that they gave up Smart for. He has high expectations on him. He had the best season of his career last year. The foot thing's really annoying, but altogether he should be able to contribute at a high level for the Celtics. And of course, Tatum and Brown are going to be 1 and 2. I mean, what is this?
Yeah, obviously. This is like random and like something just I picked out because I love Derek White. It feels like this sentence was just because Zach Buckley couldn't think of a bad thing to say about Derek White. White's game has a few holes, but Boston is relying on him. What are the holes in Derek White's game? I feel like the reason he is not like a superstar isn't because he's bad at certain things, but just because he's not elite at certain things, right? Like, I can't think of something Derek White is bad at. I think he's just, do you know what I'm saying?
I don't think he's creating a lot of like long range shots, which is fine. He doesn't have to.
That's what I'm saying. I think part of that is because he's not asked to. You're right. His shot creation on the perimeter, maybe, but like, I don't know. I just thought that was an interesting thing. This just feels like the sentence you write when you can't think of anything specific to say bad about a player. He has a few holes in his game, but he's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it's a good list. Obviously, I think it gets easier the closer you get to the top because there's a clear 1, 2, 3 with the Celtics. 4 is there. Maybe I think if you want the tiers, I think it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then the rest is like figure it out. Figure it out in the list. I agree with you that Svi is too low, though.
I think he's poised to have a pretty decent season.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Like he looked really good to these coaches last year. He looked really good in Charlotte. He put up really good numbers when he was given real opportunity. And nobody in that Weiss article was be like, yeah, but he can't play defense. That just wasn't the thing.
I agree. I feel like Delano Banton's probably the worst on the roster, and he's still like fine. It's just doesn't have a jump shot. He's not great on the defensive end. He hustles. He's really just like he's basically just the frame of a pretty good wing, and that's like raw. Everything else like doesn't really do much else. He can make a little bit, but we'll have to see. Thank you, Zach Buckley, for giving us the content. We always appreciate Bleacher Report guys for giving us stuff to talk about. Subscribe to How About Them Celtics. We appreciate you. Let Sam say the rest.
Yes, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any daily uploads this summer. We're putting out these videos. We're putting out full-length pods, which you can also find on Spotify and Apple. Make sure you follow us there, too. Leave a 5-star review and say something nice about the fellas. You can find us on playback.tv. How about them Celtics? We have a little check mark. We're going to do some streams during the season, so we'll see. We'll see. Social media, at How About Them C's, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Facebook is just the name of the podcast. You can find us there. You can find Jack on Twitter at JacksMonNBA. You can find me at Samuel France NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Tic-taco. Come on.
Tackles.
Taco.